Hello and welcome to the post-match show. I'm Vaibhav Tripathi and joined by Shamik Chakrabarti from the Wankhede Stadium, Snehashish Mukherjee and Mohar Chaudhary. And what a performance, what a dominating performance it was from the Chennai Super Kings. They made it a one-sided affair with all the hype and build-up that was. Me and Snehashish, we were actually talking before the show that there was so much of build-up around Rohit and MS. They didn't play it, and then the contest between the two teams that it has always been a crunch affair. Not many one-sided affairs between the two teams, but today it was a one-sided affair, lopsided affair, and it was only because of one man, or you can say Akeal loser as well. But it was the game, the match was set up by a special innings from Sanju Samson. The last time he walked at this stadium, he scored a match-winning innings against England in the semi-final, and again he came into this ground with a lot of confidence. And now you can see that Sanju Samson was very confident when he came into this ground, and he proved his mettle. He proved his mettle and proved why he's such a special talent. And Shamikta, what an incredible innings! Second century of this season, fifth overall. And Sanju Samson, after he saw that Ruturaj Gaikwad, after getting a start, got out. Shivam Dubey, Sarfaraz Khan, the local lads also got out. And when Dewald Brevis got out, he changed his tempo a bit. He slowed down, he dropped his gear, and then he carried his bat very much like he did in the last time he scored a century at Chepauk. So a special innings and a very well calculated, very well paced innings from Sanju Samson.
Yeah, Vaibhav, look, to start with, you are absolutely right when you said it's a special innings. It's a very special innings. It was a tricky surface. It was not like on this surface, I mean, on the same pitch, MI played against KKR and that was a belter. But this surface was a bit tricky. It was a typical MS Dhoni surface. The surface on which CSK used to revel. I mean, in their heydays. Now, what happened? Sanju Samson. If you look at the batting around him, CSK batting around him wobbled. Sarfraz Khan was the culprit in chief. At number three, he came, he had an opportunity to make his presence felt. He scored back-to-back boundaries of Mitchell Santner, then played a poor shot. That sweep shot was not on. On this pitch where the ball was keeping a bit low, that playing across the line was always tricky. So Sarfraz Khan and one of the area of concern as far as Sarfraz's batting is concerned is his shot selection. Then Shubham Dubey, he also tried that slog sweep against a carom ball from Allah Ghazimpur. That was also poor shot. Dewald Brevis was going well, but that ram and given that the ball was gripping on the surface and Ashwani Kumar was digging it in, and once again he should have been smarter. So Sanju knew that to take Chennai Super Kings to an imposing total, he will have to bat too. And wonderful. Look, when he came to Chennai Super Kings from Rajasthan Royals, by his own admission, he was under pressure. I mean, stepping into Chennai Super Kings has sort of anointed him as MS Dhoni's successor. For the moment, as wicketkeeper batsman, we don't know what will happen going ahead. That is for the future. But Sanju Samson, and that was a heavy cross to bear for anyone. So Sanju first three matches he failed. He went back to the drawing board, worked on his basics, scored 100, and since then he has been pretty consistent. Another 100, and the beauty of the innings, the way he picked his gap, fine third man area, the number of boundaries he scored, that lap scoop against Jasprit Bumrah, that was audacious. And against Chris Bhagat, that short arm pull over mid wicket, that was the shot of the match. And his love affair, as you rightly said, his love affair with Wankhede continued. He played a match winning knock at the World Cup T20 World Cup semi final, 87, 40 odd balls, and that set up India's win. And here also. And I mean, today, when uh, Tilak Verma's wicket fell, before that, the crowd was chanting CSK, CSK, and that was replaced with a Dhoni, Dhoni chants at Wankhede. And I mean, it was a sort of, it felt like CSK were playing a home game. The two biggest stars, as Rep Sports reported, MS Dhoni didn't play, Rohit Sharma sat out. Sanju Samson said, "Never mind, I am here. I will own the night," and that's what he did.
Absolutely, and the supporting act was played by the impact player CSK. There were a lot of questions. Like we were also discussing who will be the fourth overseas player for CSK, whether it will be Spencer Johnson, who was available for selection, but CSK didn't opt for it. And Prashant Veer, if you would have had a close look at the match, Prashant Veer was all padded up. But CSK took a smart move that they sent in a Jamie Orton who played a nice little cameo of 15 runs. And then after Akeal Hussain, and Akeal Hussain is a no mug with the bat. Obviously, only 2 runs he scored because bulk of the scoring was done by Sanju Samson. He farmed the strike and he took the onus and he smashed those 2 sixes at the end of Chris Bhagat to complete his century and take CSK past 200. But Shamik, the role of Akeal Hussain as an impact player also. Not Mukesh Chaudhary, it was Akeal Hussain who started bowling despite Quinton de Kock taking the strike. He was hit for the six, but again he got Danish Malewar out in his first over. Then Namandir, an in-form Namandir, was outclassed. And if you look at Namandir's expression, he was surprised by the amount of turn Akeal Hussain got on that particular delivery. And then in his first spell, 2 wickets. Then he came in his second spell, he got Tilak Verma out, a left-handed Tilak Verma. Same Akeal Hussain was dropped for the SRH game just because top three were all left-handed batters and he was dropped for that match despite doing incredibly well against KKR. Akeal Hussain 4 for 17 in his 4 overs, including one maiden wicket over. How special that performance was! How many times you see that kind of performance from a spinner, that to an overseas spinner at a venue like Wankhede?
See, I mean, once again, you nailed it, saying against SRH. Their left-handed top three was the reason why they didn't play Akeal Hussain, and that was a mistake. Here also Quinton de Kock and Tilak Verma, given that Tilak Verma is sort of part of top order, they learned from their mistakes. And Akeal Hussain opened their bowling. He came in as an impact sub. They read unlike Hardik Pandya, the CSK team management read the pitch well. And Akeal Hussain was brought in as an impact sub. His second ball, he was hit for a six. What he did, he slowed his pace. He varied his pace and started bowling slower. And the way, and that was the reason why he got the first wicket in the final ball of his first over. And the wicket to dismiss, the ball to dismiss Namandir was a beauty that could have gotten. That's why he looked sort of flabbergasted because turn, jump, everything. It was a beauty. And and then on the heels of that decent partnership, although they are always playing catch up. CS Mumbai Indians, despite that partnership between Surya and Tilak Verma, they were always playing catch up. Once again, that ball kept a little bit low. And that was that. Surya's wicket was the cherry on the top. Akeal Hussain, see, the pitch absolutely suited him. The pitch absolutely suited him. Captaincy from Ruturaj Gaikwad was very good. The way he placed his fielders, the sleep was on, and the way he attacked the batsmen, that was very good captaincy from Ruturaj Gaikwad. And Akeal Hussain, he he did nothing much. He bowled slow through the air and hit the right areas, and that was what it needed on that surface.
Since you talked about Hardik Pandya, let's go back at the start of the match when Hardik Pandya won the toss and took that decision. We were discussing this in the pre-match that MI doesn't have a great record while chasing in the second innings, and this is what happened. Although it was not a mammoth total given the boundary dimensions and the way pitch was playing, but the ways MI started, we always knew that they will be playing a catch-up cricket unless and until somebody plays a special innings like Samson did from MI's end, whether it was Surya Kumar Yadav or Tilak Verma, because both were set. Either of them could have continued or taken the game deep, but it didn't happen. So, what would you reckon? Was the most sensible decision from MI to bowl first on this wicket?
Uh, uh, Vaibhav, I will first give Hardik his flowers before talking about his toss blunder. Uh, he showed tactical nous when, in the first 2 overs, both Hardik's first 2 overs accounted for sort of 38 runs, I guess, and Bumrah also licked runs with the new ball. So Hardik very quickly realized that pace off would be the right choice, and he brought in the two spinners inside the power play, and both spinners took wickets. So that was good captain. That was good captaincy. That was good tactical nows. But the damage was done some time ago at the toss, because maybe the due factor influenced him, as I was telling you off camera, that during the last game against Punjab Kings, there was a lot of due. And maybe that influenced Hardik's decision to bowl first on this pitch, but he misread the pitch. This pitch, it was the same pitch that was used for the KKR versus MI game, but that was a belter. This pitch was the different. Midway into that innings, and I was discussing this with a very, very senior and very, very renowned journalist as Meman. We are sitting together and we have been discussing about this, the way the pitch was getting slower and lower, the ball was gripping. If you look at Dewald Brevis dismissal, the way he was digging, Ashwini Kumar was digging the ball into the surface, it was gripping, not coming onto the bat. So Hardik completely misread the pitch. In hindsight, I'll still cut Hardik some slack, but the thing is that in hindsight, we are talking with the advantage of hindsight, and and that hindsight says Hardik Pandya made a toss blunder.
Definitely, and if you look at Ruturaj Gaikwad at the toss, he said he also wanted to bowl first, but now he would be glad the way the wicket played in the second innings. He would be glad that his team batted first and they posted a big total, which proved to be more than enough for MI. And it is the biggest
And
loss.
once again, if you look at the record, Vaibhav, since
Yes,
2019,
yes,
CSK have never haven't successfully chased 180 plus total since 2019.
only
And
twice.
no, 2019 they haven't chased 180 plus total. And now in the previous game, that although that was on a black soil pitch at Ahmedabad, they won the game handsomely by 99 runs batting first. I think uh, Hardik became a little too concerned about the due factor, and that was a mistake. So that is it. But the fact of the matter is that Mumbai Indians have now lost five of their first seven matches, and this is their third loss at home. It is no longer Fortress Wankhede.
Definitely no longer Fortress Wankhede, biggest loss by runs. If you look at the margin for MI, and biggest win for CSK, if you'll go by the runs. But Bharat sir, I'll go to you. What do you think
Uh,
would
Vaibhav,
yes,
I will take your leave because I have to attend the press conference.
please give us inputs from there as well. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I'll come to you. What was your assessment of the wicket? Was it a too bad a wicket not to or to be defeated by 100 plus margin? Because wicket, I think obviously it got slowed down a bit. There was help for the spinners. There was assistance. Akeal Hosein got the ball to turn. Even Noor Ahmad on occasions. Losing a game like this on a wicket like Wankhede by over 100 runs, I think it was a total flop show from the MI batting lineup.
I don't think it was that bad a wicket. Yes, there was a little bit in it for the spinners. It was gripping a bit. There was turn. You have to give credit to Akeal Hussain as well. I thought he bowled brilliantly. It was not just about the pitch because Akeal Hussain was imparting enough reps on the ball, and that isn't because of the pitch. That is because of the skill that you have. Just because you slow it up, it doesn't mean that you will impart more reps on the ball. So you have to put more body into action, and that is what Akeal Hussain was doing. So a lot of credit to him, a lot of credit to obviously Noor. But having said that, I don't think it was 102, whatever, 103 all out pitch. It was definitely better than that. Maybe it's more like a 170, 175 kind of a pitch, which obviously someone like Chennai Super Kings got more than that, thanks to Sanju Samson, and also thanks to the fact that Mumbai Indians' spin attack, when it comes to this kind of conditions, perhaps was not at the level that you saw with the CSK spin attack, because they were not imparting the same kind of revs. Obviously, I missed a part of Chennai Super Kings innings because I was traveling back to my home from RCB's practice session. But whatever little I saw, my spin attack, I don't think they could match up to CSK screen attack. But definitely, this is not a 103 all out pitch. I've seen worse pitches than this even in T20 cricket, especially like in Guyana, where I think from where Akeal comes from. In those conditions, it definitely turns more than this. So it was more like a 170, 160 kind of a pitch.
Snehashish, 30 seconds to you and then 30 seconds to more on Sanju Samson, because every
Why
you
30
both
seconds?
witnessed the innings,
Why
special
not
innings from
27
Sanju Samson.
seconds?
No, I am not. See, the only reason why I'm not asking Bharat sir, because he was on his way back, so I am assuming that he didn't watch his innings as close as you would have. So a word on Sanju Samson's innings, because again, as I said, it was a pretty controlled and well paced innings. Unlike his last innings was, he went all attack and still carried his bat. In this innings, it was when Deval Brevis got out, he changed his gears and then he slowed down a bit and then he allowed Karthik Sharma and other batters, because he knew that there is a lot of inexperience in the batting to come, whether it's Karthik Sharma, Jamie Overton. Also, he didn't, as a part of the leadership group, he knew that if one more wicket falls, then they had to use a Prashant Veer. Then Hussain wouldn't have come. So at that time, to slow down and then pull things back at the back end, I think Sanju Samson brought all his experience to the fore.
Absolutely. I think Sanju used his experience and played according to the situation. As you mentioned, I think two different kind of hundreds that we have seen so far from Sanju, and I think this is more mature one and more beneficial for the team, because if Sanju would have scored those runs, I think things could have been different. And this total, instead of 200 plus, could have been around 170, 180, and the whole game could have been different. The approach from MI batting lineup could have been different. So I think that was the main difference. Superb knock. I think he understood that he needs to be there till the end, and that is why he tried that. And it is good that he managed to score that 100. But what was the approach for him was not scoring that 100. What I saw, the approach was to add as many as possible for the team, because he understood that this pitch might suit their spinners, and it did eventually. So the more runs you score, that will give your bowling unit a more cushion. I think that only helped them, and obviously now the margin that which they have won, it's fantastic. I think the boost they will get in terms of net run rate, they will be more than happy. But overall, I think fantastic knock from Sanju Samson, according, and that you expect from an experienced player. He's more experienced player, playing this tournament for a long time for several franchises for RR, and a captain. As I before starting this live, I was talking to you that more than Ruturaj Gaikwad, what I saw, that I think he's more involved in setting the field and everything. I saw him talking with the fielders and bowlers every now and then. So I think he's more involved, and he's a proper leader. And it's good to see things are not looking that good as of now for CSK. Obviously, it's a huge win in the context of the playoff race, but still, I think it's good that when things are not looking that good, players like Sanju Samson are stepping up. I think Ruturaj Gaikwad needs it, and hopefully it can give more good results for CSK going forward.
I'll just add a joke. Just one small joke. Just one
Silently,
small joke.
Snehashish Mukherjee just projected Sanju Samson as the future CSK captain. Yes, Bharat sir.
Just one small joke. See, I watched Sanju Samson from the press box during the Trivandrum T20I. The way he's batting now, it feels like that particular player was Sanju Samson's twin brother that he lost somewhere, Kumbh Mela, or while going in a train. That is while traveling in a train. That is how it feels like compared to the Sanju Samson that we are seeing now. So just wanted to add this small joke.
Ruturaj Gaikwad in the post-match presentation ceremony dedicated this win to Mukesh Chaudhary, because Mukesh
Yeah.
Chaudhary lost his mother, and very unfortunate that Mukesh Chaudhary lost his mother, but he delivered a fantastic spell for his team. 31 runs on his 4 overs, taking the important wicket in his first spell. So prayers with Mukesh and strength to him from Rev Sports. But more your thoughts on Sanju Samson innings. I mean,
Yes.
uh, I can ask n number of people, because that's special, and CSK fans won't
Yeah.
mind me talking about Sanju Samson for a while.
I mean, he deserves it. Why not? We should talk about him as much as possible. I remember his I think it was the New Zealand series when he was struggling and there were questions being raised every now and then. Even in the World Cup at the start, he was dropped and everything. And then making a complete turnaround from there requires a lot of mental tenacity, a lot of, requires a lot of mental strength to come back from that. So kudos to him. He's just picking up from where he left off in the World Cup. And yeah, I mean, he has 100% role clarity. He knew that obviously because of this impact player thing that you mentioned, that Akeal Hosein has to come in. Plus the fact that he had in the back of his mind that Ayush Matre is not here, one of the batters in the team who is who is in great touch, is missing out. So he had that in mind, and he played according to the condition. He accelerated when required, and he had it in his mind that he has to stay till the end. He wanted to bat deep, which is why everybody around the other batters were batting around him. They took the risks while he was there. He also took risks, but he just knows when to play what. He maximum game awareness. I remember this particular. I think it was a flick shot of Hardik Pandya that he hit. Also, excellent gap finding behind. I mean, he just knows when to hit what, when to slow things down, when to accelerate, when to how to pace the innings according to the situation, according to the condition. A very mature knock from him, and that obviously it comes with experience. But it's an added plus that Sanju Samson is back among runs, and once again he's. I mean, he just popped up on the orange cap leaderboard. He just made his entry. So great news for CSK, and hoping he carries this form forward.
Alright, sir. Hardik Pandya, I was seeing the quotes of Hardik Pandya from the post-match presentation ceremony. He said the wicket didn't change much. At least he didn't thought that wicket changed a lot deal, because he said that on the same wicket a team scored 200 plus, and the reason why we were not able to do was because we lost power play. We lost early wickets in the power play. They lost their top order inside the first 3 overs, and they could only score 29 runs in the first 6 overs. From there, it was always a difficult task, or you can say a mammoth, Herculean task to chase a total, especially with the, as we said, that there was a little bit of grip and spin for the spinners. And but was it only the batting power play, or do you think bowling power play also, MI lost the grip? Because CSK scored 72, if I'm not wrong, in the first while batting first in the first 6 overs. So was it a game? Mahela Jayawardene also, in the post-match press conference, he said that it was a game where we lost the game in both power plays, batting power play and bowling power play. Opine with? Do you also agree with the same thing which Hardik Pandya and Jayawardene said?
In T20 cricket, obviously, power play matters a lot. Uh, it always matters. That's what I feel. So in that sense, if you are 29 for 3 on a pitch that's turning a bit after 6 overs, then it's always going to be, then you are always going to be in some kind of a trouble, because the opposition team also has good spinners, and suddenly you are 29 for 3 in the power play itself. In such conditions, you would want maybe 60, at least 60 runs in 6 overs, so that you can come up against spinners with your openers, or someone batting at number 3 playing against spinners. I think that is where I kind of lost it. Obviously, even when they bowled, if you give away 70, 75 runs in 6 overs, then you will be on the back foot. So it again goes back to the same point that power play overs are very important in T20 cricket. A lot of games are decided on the basis of power play overs, and I guess that's what exactly happened. But Hardik Pandya is partially true. I don't think it was a 200 kind of a pitch. Yes, you can say that. I am also saying it in hindsight, but it was. I don't think it was some 200 kind of a pitch. Maybe it was more of a 170, 180 kind of a pitch, and Mumbai Indians batted badly. That's what I would say. Yes, CSK bowled brilliantly, but some of the batting was pretty poor.
Snehash, isn't it a luxury to have somebody like Akeal Hosein who can start in the power play, take wickets in the power play, and then bowl in the middle overs as well? And then it allows you to use somebody like a Noor Ahmed after 10 overs, and sort of in the slog overs as well, where batters will try to hit him and then got out, like Hardik Pandya, like it happened with MI batters. So how big a luxury is to have two quality spinners in Akeal Hosein and Noor Ahmed, both renowned T20 Globetrotters.
Absolutely, and I think just like RR using two overseas pace bowling options, I think it is also a brave decision by CSK. I will say to use two overseas option, that two two spinners. And the best part of the that move is paying off because they're performing. And see, I think Akeal Hosein is a very street smart cricketer, and he is a proven T20 performer across all around the globe. He plays around in different franchise leagues, and he performs for any team he plays. He performs here and there. So I think, and his ability to take wickets in the power play, I think that is the best thing that he provides for a team. And when there is not a not when some someday Akeal Hosein might not get the spin that we saw here, then he has that the arm ball, that swing also, full in swing and all, we can say, with the new ball. So I think that also deceive the batter. So I think he has those varieties, he has that experience, and that is working out for CSK. And see today, 7 wickets by two spinners in 8 overs. I think they are only they still the game. And compared to MI spinners, I think MI spinners are not in the game. I think Allah Ghazalfar has been impressive. I think he has been trying his best game by game. If you see, in every game he's trying his best, keep delivering some performances. But overall, I think today Mitchell Santner did well compared to the other games. But still, as a unit, they are not clicking. But I think these two players, both Noor and Akeal Hosein, has formed a fantastic partnership. If you see the KKR game in Chennai, same thing happened. In that pitch also there was a little bit turn and grip. KKR spinners also did well. Anukul Roy, Sunil Nair, and Varun Chakravarti. 10 overs they bowled. Ajinkya Rahane, God knows for what reason he didn't bowl 12 overs. Still, I'm searching for that answer. But yeah, in those 8 overs, these two players sealed the game for CSK in that game also, right? I think they took 5 or 6 wickets together. So I think fantastic signing. And again, I will say it's a brave call to use two overseas options in the form of spinners. But the best thing that they are playing, they are performing, and CSK fans and CSK management will hope that this performance can continue going forward.
Just adding
CSK's
small point,
games.
one
Yeah.
line, just one line on Akeal Hosein. I think he's a better spinner than just being called a T20 kind of a spinner, because what I saw was he was imparting a lot of revs on the ball. It was not like he was getting, yes, he was getting turn off the wickets. You can tell that, but he was still imparting a lot of revs on the ball. So he was beating the batsman in the air as well. I think he's a much better spinner than just being called a T20 spinner, but it is for him if he wants to play the longer formats, especially the longest format of the game. I think he can easily do that because he was beating the batsman in the air, not just with turn off the wicket.
Thing with Akeal Hosein, he has a very good arm ball as well, which he often uses in the power play overs. He didn't use it that much today because there was enough spin, so it was not required. But more, let's talk out a bit about MI's batting. Obviously, top order is, I would say, Danish Malewar is still very young and inexperienced, so not much. And it was like any batter would get surprised the amount of spin that delivery got from Akeal Hosein. So obviously nothing against him. Still a youngster, and he will learn from it. But Namandir delivery also very special, so you cannot criticize too much. But Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Verma actually formed the biggest partnership of this game. Obviously, CSK posted 200 plus total, but it was the partnership of Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Verma was the biggest partnership of this particular game. They got the start, but they were unable to find boundaries regularly, which in a big run chase can be a big worry. During middle overs, if you are unable to cash on loose deliveries, then the run rate keep on going up, and that's where you lose wickets. If you look at Tilak Verma's wicket, it came under pressure, and then Surya Kumar Yadav's wicket, and this didn't allow Hardik Pandya to even take few balls and get settled in. He has to hit from the right from the first ball. So you cannot blame a Hardik Pandya, you cannot blame a Sharfin Netherfoot. Yes, you could have said you could have played the shot better. You could have used a better stroke against those deliveries. But how would you describe that partnership between Tilak Verma and Surya Kumar Yadav? Tilak Verma coming off a century, there were high hopes from him. Surya Kumar Yadav is definitely struggling with form. He was hit twice in the same over from Anshul Kamboj. I thought he would retire out, but he played on, and because it was very important for Surya to be there at the crease. But again, Surya Kumar Yadav is not entirely looking his old self. In these balls, Surya Kumar Yadav of 2023 would have completed his half century. His century, not half century, his century. Concerning signs for Surya Kumar Yadav, 7 games are done. You only have 4 points from 2 wins. Surya Kumar Yadav's form again remains a concern, and runs are not just coming. It's not coming in a way like he always used to play that flick of the fine leg, that fine leg shot, that supla shot. He always used to connect it well. Today again he tried twice, he couldn't connect either of them. So this tells you that the player is out of touch.
Yeah, I mean, if I have to sum up MI's batting, I don't think the total was, I mean, unchaseable. It was nothing like that. All you needed was just a couple of good partnerships and a little bit of acceleration. Danish Malewar, I will not be too harsh on him because he's very young and he's supposed to fill in Rohit Sharma's shoes, and that's an added pressure. Obviously, you can't expect him to just come in and hit like Rohit Sharma. But yeah, I've heard good things about him. He plays for Vidarbha. He's done well there, so maybe he will come around in the next couple of games. He needs his time. But yeah, coming to the Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Verma partnership, I think that was very needed at that point of time. Sure, the run rate kept, I mean, jumping to some other level, but I had my expectations from Tilak Verma at least that he would, especially the kind of form that he was in last game. I was expecting him to accelerate after the 14th or 15th over, just the way he did. But obviously, I have to give credits to CSK bowlers as well. They trapped him well. They trapped everybody well. But yeah, that partnership was needed at that point in time to just keep the scoreboard ticking. But yeah, if I have to talk about Surya Kumar Yadav, he really does not look his best. I mean, yeah, certain boundaries he is when he's connecting, those are looking beautiful. But for the majority of the time, he's not being able to connect. He is looking clueless. Even his like you mentioned, his strengths, the flick, the swoop, like even the sweep, he's not being able to connect well. He's not looking comfortable at the crease. Something he doesn't look his usual self. Obviously, and but obviously again, once again, we knew Surya Kumar Yadav was out of touch, so I don't think a lot of people had expectations that he would suddenly become a match winner tonight. But yes, I of course had my expectations from Tilak Verma, considering his century in the previous game. And I mean, I agree that Hardik Pandya did not get enough time to come and get settled. But overall, if you look at his form, he has also not been his best. Even in the T20 World Cup, yeah, he scored here and there. He has shown his sparks of brilliance, but this is not the Hardik Pandya that we know. Not with the ball, not with the bat. Could be the pressure of captaincy, could be something, could be fatigue, could be anything, but he just doesn't look his best. Otherwise, if you looked at Hardik Pandya 2-3 years back, these kinds of situations were meant for him. He is known as the clutch Pandya. He will come and he will rescue the team. He will do something and he will be there on the crease. But that we have not been able to see from him. And as a captain, it's also very important to lead, with runs. Not just in this game, in other games as well. He also leaked runs as well. If you look at the economy rates, everyone is more or less economical, but he has been quite expensive. So, Hardik Pandya, the skipper coming back to form, is very important. Other than that, obviously, we've spoken about Surya Kumar Yadav. But yes, one suggestion that I would like to give, and I don't know if it makes sense, but Sharfin Rutherford could come before Hardik Pandya. So he could come, he could play those shots, and then Hardik Pandya could come in and then he could finish. Better for both, because he can come in and score those big runs, and he also can get some time before he walks in. So this is just a suggestion that I have. Other than that, overall, a disappointing batting performance. Yes, he messed up in the toss. They should have batted first, because they could have, posted a big total on the scoreboard. Because as we know, according to stats, Chennai Super Kings have not been able to chase a 190 above score since 2019. Plus, there was not much due as well. Obviously, so maybe they misread the conditions, but overall, Hardik Pandya as a skipper, he needs to get things right. And of course, Surya Kumar.
Yeah, tough times for MI, tough times for Hardik Pandya. It has been the case since the start of this decade only. If you look at 2020 was the last time MI won the title. Post 2020, the struggle started. It looks like a never-ending struggle for them since the time their stalwarts retire, whether it's Lasith Malinga, Karen Pollard. Things have been difficult for Mumbai Indians. But I want to talk specifically about one player who hasn't been talked about in many shows, and I'm sure everywhere it has been Sanju Samson or Akeal Hosein being talked about. But how impressive has Anshul Kamboj has been? Like today also, 3 overs, 10 runs, 1 wicket. First two overs conceding only 8 runs. And if you look at the wicket takers list, you will find him at the top. And it is very surprising. Like nobody has actually must have predicted that by the halfway mark of this IPL, you will find somebody like Anshul Kamboj at the top of the list, ahead of Jasprit Bumrah, ahead of Josh Hazelwood, ahead of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, ahead of these big names. And Anshul Kamboj deserves all the, because he has done a lot of work behind the scenes to improve his pace, to work on his bowling. The look at the lens that he's been hitting today as well. The lens that he hit, he didn't allow either Hardik Pandya or Tilak Verma to break free.
Yes, see, I think he's worked on his fitness. That's the main part to look at. Because see, Anshul Kamboj is at his very best when he bowls at about 135, 138 kilometers per hour. But what I've seen, not just in Test cricket, but also in domestic cricket, is he loses his pace somewhere after his first spell or second spell. I still have to see how he goes in the next season's Ranji Trophy. That is when I think you can gauge his pace better. But when he's bowling at 135, 137 kilometers per hour, I think he's at his absolute best. It's not just about his length. I think he's a very useful line bowler in the sense that he will hit this particular line, especially the new ball. Maybe it is just outside off, corridor of uncertainty, on top of off. He will just keep hitting that same line again and again. So that's the first point. And I have met him, seen him from close quarters. He's quite tall, so he's a pretty high arm action. Obviously, you know it doesn't have much of a jump, but he still has a very high arm action. So he seems to hit the bat quite high up on the bat. So I think that is one point that people don't really discuss about him. It's not much of a swing bowler, more of a seam bowler, but definitely hits the bat high up. And finally, I think he's also worked on going round the wicket and bowling those Yorkers and getting that angle right. Yes, Jamie Orton also tried it but couldn't land the ball where he wanted to against Royal Challengers Bangalore. But I think Anshul Kamboj has really worked on just nailing those Yorkers from round the wicket and getting the angle right. So Eric Simmons, actually, I talked to Eric Simmons last year in an interview, and he said that he's someone who has a very sharp mind and always looks to improve after every single game or after every single net session. I think that is what we are seeing nowadays. The kind of improvement or the kind of upgradation is done to his bowling. Unfortunately, when he played that one-off test match at Old Trafford, I think he was down on fitness. And when his pace is somewhere around 125, it just doesn't work for him. See, every bowler, you would know, every bowler would be comfortable bowling at a certain pace. I think for Anshul Kamboj, it's somewhere between 135 to 138. When he's bowling at that pace, I think he's a pretty useful line bowler.
Definitely, and he one has to be mindful of the fact that he is the bowler who has taken 10 wickets, all 10 wickets in an innings in a Ranji Trophy match. I think it was last season, and that's why he got a call up to the Indian team as well. But hopefully, if he continues his form with the ball like this, then maybe you will find him in the squad for the Ireland T20s. Who knows? Because T20s will become somewhat irrelevant until the next World Cup, which will be played in 2027, which will be in ODI format. So this was it. CSK with this 103 run win goes up to the 5th position in the points table, and they have played their 7 matches, 3 wins, obviously more losses than wins, but this win will give them a big boost. And MI, on the other hand, after beating Gujarat Titans one-sided, they have lost one-sided affair, and now their hopes of making it to the knockouts, it looks slim. And even if with Rohit Sharma coming back, it will be a miraculous task for Mumbai Indians to qualify from this position. If they do so, nobody will be surprised, because they have done it already. They have done it in the past, but from this position and the team that they have, it looks very, very much impossible. But let's see. In sports, we say never say never. That will be the thing that MI fans will be hoping for. But today it was CSK's day. They won the game, and they take 2 points from the Wankhede Stadium. So that was it. Thank you, Sanju Mukherjee, Mohar Chaudhary, and Bharat Ramraj from joining us. Tomorrow, or better to say today, it has already, the date has changed. Today, RCB will take on Gujarat Titans, and the match will be played at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru. Bharat will be there. Bharat sir will provide us all the updates. He will join us pre-match as well. So we will join you then. Don't forget to join us in the pre-match show. Till then, take care. Goodbye.